Hey everyone, welcome back to a new episode, another week of the Retro Gamers Podcast. Listening, watching, whatever, taking it in, soaking it in like a sponge. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
What's going on, Ant? How you been for another week?
It's been another glorious week here in La La Land.
Hey, that's where I should live.
It's true. It's practically named after you.
As it should be. No, very cool. Very cool. The weather's holding up as we had some terrible rain today.
Oh, yeah, I heard there was some rain going on out there.
Yeah, and that is the current events, the weather portion of the podcast.
Yes, well, it was cloudy here today.
Oh, that's just
that's scary for September.
Terrible, yeah. Well, September's long gone by the time this drops. We're now in October. Fall is with us. We're getting into Halloween, which for some reason is almost more popular than Christmas, which I can't understand. But hey, that's not me.
Well, Halloween's when all the freaks get to come out.
Yes, it is. And it's your birthday month, so that's fun.
Yes.
Big one, too. We'll talk about that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. But, yeah, Halloween, Halloween's, I think, the one night where we're allowed to go outside.
It's allowed to go out, and you got to, it's...
No, I mean we as in the two of us.
Oh, yes. No, this is
We
true.
actually get to leave our holes.
This is very true.
Or our holes.
What's great, here's what's great, because I think your entrance is, near, around the house or something. The entrance to my apartment's the back of the house, so that means no trick-or-treaters.
Oh yeah, no, I never get trick-or-treaters here because I'm at the end of an alley. Nobody comes to my door.
Yep.
Yet, Jehovah's Witnesses find me.
Well, they're knocking on any door they see.
I know, exactly. They seem to know I'm here.
Meanwhile, I go to order a pizza, and I put in the instructions, back entrance of the door, and they still can't find it. I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. My neighbor all the time has to send them to the back. Even though I tell them, walk down the alley, they knock on her door.
Oh, well.
That's how it works.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But
it's October.
It's
October. We've got Halloween coming.
We do. We have Halloween coming. The movie's coming out. The holidays coming out. If anyone finds the Atari game, you can play that when you get a chance.
There's also Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios.
This is true.
Which I actually went to.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. How was that?
I went to it last week. It was a blast. I mean, they did a really good job. Some really great mazes this year for people who haven't been to a Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. They set up nice horror-themed mazes all throughout the studio, the theme park, and the studio lot. They actually cordon off part of the back lot.
Oh, really?
So you actually have to walk on the back lot to get to some of the mazes.
Oh, wow!
Which is kind of cool because we got to walk down past New York Street and stuff like that before we went into some of the mazes.
Okay.
But it was really cool because I know people here.
You have connections.
Yes, because I have connections. I got early entry.
Oh, lucky.
Which was so a bunch of people get early entry, and it's mostly employees and people who know employees. So got early entry, which was so we got in 2 hours before general open.
Okay.
Which was great and funny at the same time because for the 2 hours we were there, it was still daylight.
And they're probably still setting up. They're
still setting up stuff. But the thing about the mazes is they're all indoors, so you can still go through the mazes, and they're all dark.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are themed. Most of them are themed off of movies, and every year the movies change. Okay. So this year they had set up, I think it was 8 mazes overall. And then, so you had really cool stuff. You had Stranger Things maze, which was really fun. Trick or Treat, if you've ever seen that movie. Did you ever see the horror movie Trick or Treat?
I'm not into, we were growing up. I don't know how I hung out with you guys. You were all into horror.
I know, and you really weren't.
I never was.
But Trick or Treat's a really good horror movie, and the maze was good too. Mm-hmm. Poltergeist.
Ooh, all right. There.
Yeah, which was my second favorite maze. It was they did such a good job. They built a small version of that house. So
was Coach there?
No, he was not. But then you got to walk through the house and a lot. There were a lot of good scares in there, straight out of the film. The animatronics they made were amazing. And actually, I recorded my walkthrough, which you can see, Larry, on my Facebook page. It's not on the Retro Gamers Facebook page, of course, because it's not within theme of Retro Gamers, but you can see it. And then there was a Halloween 4 maze.
Which one was that?
Halloween 4 was the one where he broke out and went after. That's the one where he went after his niece.
Was Paul Rudd in that one?
No, Paul Rudd was in part 6.
Oh, okay.
Part 4 was Danielle Harris.
Okay, I remember. Okay, yes.
So they did one based off of that theme, and that was really cool. But then the best maze, because we got through all of the mazes, by like 9 o'clock, which was great. So, but the best maze was, for me, the Universal Monsters maze, which basically took all the classic monsters. So Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, Werewolf, and they made a maze. Creature wasn't there. But the other guys were.
Okay.
And they basically made a maze built off of them, and I just thought they did a phenomenal job with it.
That's awesome.
All in all, super scary. A lot of my friends were jumping and scaring. I spent the entire time laughing.
Because you have no soul.
It's true. I was literally walking through the mazes, and like freaking like the Demogorgon jumps out of nowhere, and he just jumps right into my face, and I'm like, keep walking. Meantime, I have like friends like screaming and jumping over the place, and I'm like, but it was great. Had a great night. Definitely something worth doing if you're in the Orlando area or the Hollywood area. It's just a great Halloween experience.
Cool. And, Universal Monsters, that's classic. I'll consider that retro, we're the retro gamers, but we do like...
That's very retro, not counting the Tom Cruise movie, yuck.
Oh, I'm staying away from that. Speaking of retro, just to... And it's funny, you're like, no, I'm not going to post it on Retro Gamers. This I posted on the Retro Gamers Instagram page, just for fun. Sometimes it's fun to show...
Oh, I saw you post it.
Yeah, show out what we are outside of the gaming. They showed, from one night only, they showed in the theater the Transformers, the movie, the old 1986 cartoon movie. What happened?
How was it on the big screen?
I loved it on the big... I mean, I never seen it in the movie theater. Not originally. I've seen it 100 times since then, but to see it up there, and it was like it wasn't even like a high def version. It was like the original version, which I loved. Grainy, blurry.
Did you cry? Did you cry when Optimus died?
I'll admit it. I'm a man. I can admit it. I started to well up a little bit when Optimus turned. When he turns gray, it's like that's your childhood being destroyed. In front
that was awful too. I mean, they couldn't even let him stay like red and blue. They had to turn him gray.
I mean, terrible.
Like he rusted before our sight.
And the worst part about it, we end up with Rodimus Prime. Please give me a break.
Oh, Hot Rod.
And it's just the movie was just. It's always been fantastic. Before the movie, they showed a very quick kind of like sneak preview of Bumblebee that's coming out, which I am stoked about. I cannot wait, because Bumblebee, which is not a prequel, it's actually like a reboot, which for the better. I feel it's going to be the movie we always wanted, and hopefully the movie we deserve.
Okay.
Hello, Tail. Because it's all Gen 1 Transformers.
Oh, that's good.
Did you see the trailer?
No, I haven't.
Oh, my God. You got it. I'm going to ruin it for you right now. So...
No, yeah. See, I don't watch I try not to watch that many trailers anymore because they give away too much of the film.
Agreed. I usually just watch, besides a teaser trailer, I'll watch the first official release and then I'm done. But this one, I'm going to tell you right now, Bumblebee obviously is a bug, a Volkswagen Beetle. They show Optimus Prime, who's original OG Gen 1 Optimus Prime. The way he looked in the cartoon. Soundwave is in the movie. Shockwave is in the movie.
About time Soundwave is in the movie.
I'm telling, and they look like the figures. They look like the cartoon. When I saw Shockwave, I was like, what? And even though people are debating whether or not it's him, I'm pretty sure it's Starscream. Like just G1. And it takes place in 1987. So did Michael Bay do it? No, it's
okay.
I can't remember the guy's name, but it's not Michael Bay. It's a guy who I think he directed Coraline. He directed a lot of like the stop motion movies.
Okay.
Or he was part of those something, because I know they showed Coraline. Like, hey, he directed something.
Yes.
But it just looks amazing, and it's what I wish the original Transformers, like the Shia LaBeouf Transformers, was. Even though I accepted the difference in the Transformers, even though it still bugged me Bumblebee was a Camaro. But yeah, looking forward to this one. John Cena's in it, from what I understand, but you can never see him, so I don't know if it's really him. It comes out Christmas. Comes out Christmas, and it's gonna be really cool. And then afterwards, they showed an interview with Stan Bush, talking about the two iconic songs from the movie, Dare and You Got the Touch. Fun fact, Stan. You Got the Touch was originally written for the Sylvester Stallone movie, Cobra.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that would have been weird. So,
yeah, I don't see how that works.
So, Ba Wheat, Nawa, Greet, Nitty Bomb.
Yeah.
That's the universal reading. Come on.
Yes, I know. Move on.
In any event, so that was really fun. That's pretty much what I did this week. And, for this episode, we talked before we went on the air, and we thought, now that we're doing the podcast on YouTube, so this is going to be more of a YouTube heavy. So if you're listening, continue to listen. We love it. This one, you may want to bounce over to YouTube to A, subscribe, and B,
yes.
Check out the episode, because this week we're going to talk about...
Because if you join us on YouTube, you not only get to see our faces, but you get to see these little faces as well.
This is true. You get to see Link and Snow.
Link and Snow. This is Snow.
Snow, who is just ready to just rip someone's jugular out at the moment's notice.
Well, she seems perfectly fine right now.
No, today she's looking calm.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about... And we kind of touched on it a little bit last week when I showed how I picked up Shining Force 3.
Yes.
And it didn't have the manual. And it kind of... I started looking
Sorry, I have to shift there.
No, it's all right. I started looking on eBay. Pick up the manual for Shining Force 3 to complete it. And even though I didn't find the manual yet, by golly, a lot of people are selling Shining Force 3. And my God, complete, like you even mentioned, is going for a lot of money.
I know. It's why I still don't own it.
It's crazy. Some of it's work, like, to me, full, complete set, not sealed, not factory sealed, but complete, look, $250, dare I even say $300 if it's really pristine. For that game, I feel well worth it. Whether or not you want to spend it, it's up to you, whether you can do that, but I feel well worth it. But yeah, just some of the prices, even just, like, disc alone was still triple digits.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And like I said, like there was an unopened one I saw on there up there once that was like $1,200 or $1,300.
I saw an unsealed one, all complete, but not factory sealed, and it was still someone was asking for like $800.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting how certain games get that type of notoriety where it's always demand usually increases value as well as, supply or lack of supply. And, certain games have, certain games just didn't sell well back then, or that weren't created in abundance, will always have more value, especially when all of a sudden everybody wants them.
Absolutely.
That's just how it goes.
No, agreed. And I'm not talking like the price gouging like we saw with the classics. That's just sickening. But these games, it's either, like you said, the lack thereof, they're not really circulating anymore, not a lot were in print, or maybe they were just, for some reason, commercial failures, but found love, if you will, later on. So... This is not working right now, but I'm going to fix it. There we go. So basically what we're going to talk about today is some of the boxes, and you're going to have a lot more than I do, but I know you're not going to show all of them.
No, definitely not.
We're going to show the box sets that we have. And when I say box sets, meaning the game's complete in box.
Yes.
Mine, some of them may or may not have manuals, and I just really started recently kind of... Some games I bought, and then I bought the box later on. So, but I figured this would be fun on YouTube, just kind of show some of our collection.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, and if you don't watch us on YouTube, or you prefer not to watch and just listen on whatever, on Spreaker or Spotify or wherever you listen to us, I mean, we'll describe what we're showing anyway, because that's usually what we do when we talk about these.
And I mean, you want to talk about collection? I mean, at least all this mess back here. That's what I got, and you can see a lot of it's falling apart.
Yes, and then just
the boxes.
Yes, and just another thing to note also, we're also talking about boxed games But we're talking about specific games that we have in box that you don't normally keep the boxes for. So in other words, like games like you would have on your PS4, your Xbox, your PS2, your Dreamcast, your PlayStation, or even like your Sega Genesis, like those, in general, you kept the boxes because the games were housed in the boxes. So we're talking about more, we're talking more along the lines of like Atari, Nintendo, games like that where you would generally throw the box away because you just kept the cartridge.
Absolutely correct. That's really my majority is going to be Nintendo and Super Nintendo. I mean, I got some Genesis games, as you can see back there, but like Anthony said, you keep them in the box. So
exactly. So we're going to stick with the ones where you don't normally keep the box.
Yes. So I'm going to go first because I want to. And so let me see.
Makes sense.
Let's start Japanese because there's a few games that when Anthony made his trips to the Orient, he pulled some sweet games for me and some nice boxes too.
Yes.
So let's do this. All right. So first, I'm gonna start with 3 games for the Super Famicom, and you may have seen these before. No, we weren't filming for YouTube back then when we were doing this. So,
no, we were not. We definitely weren't.
I mean, some of these usually I'll take a picture of and post them, but be that as it may. So first and foremost, a couple cool... Oh, that one's got stickers on it. Couple cool wrestling games. First one here, Super Fire Pro Wrestling Special.
Yes.
Nice. And these boxes, it's funny, when you first started bringing these over for me, and even for yourself, showing them, these packaging was a lot different, but different enough than the Super Nintendo packaging that we got here in the U.S.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind also that we should explain to our listeners is that when I did do all those trips to Japan and I went to the stores there, I learned really, really quickly that the Japanese take really good care of their stuff. So when I was buying these games, like I was literally astounded that like the boxes were so well kept. Now, granted, they did sell games loose as well, but the ones that were housed in their boxes, like the quality of the boxes were just still top notch. And we're talking about games that are, some of them are 25, 30, 35 years old. And the boxes look so good.
And I have a couple of examples of those I'm going to show in a little bit. So to explain, the Super Famicom boxes, I would equate them almost to old VHS tapes.
They're close to VHS style, yes.
A lot more art on it. And, of course, it's all in Japanese. But so, yeah, Super Fire Pro Wrestling's got a little bit what I like to call love. You see the scratches and the dents and everything, the wear and tear. But, hey, listen, that's going to happen.
Not perfect. I was just going to say that, and considering that I think it cost like $3.
Oh, yeah, these were inexpensive. The next one I have is for the Super Famicom, Super Fire Pro Wrestling 3. Which, again, beautiful art. Almost looks like Castlevania for a split second when you look at it.
It really does.
Yep.
Makes me wonder which character that is.
For sale and use in Japan only, and that's in English. So
hey, you know what? I bought it in Japan. So
this is true. So we got that happening. And a game I didn't even know they made on Super NES or Super Famicom. I thought it was really Game Boy only. I mean, I don't know the official title other than Picross. I don't know if this means anything in Japanese.
Oh, yeah, Mario Picross.
I guess we can call it Super Picross.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I really plan on very soon. So.
And if you do stream it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I got to stop saying that. As I said about 100 times on the last episode.
You did.
So those were the Super Famicom games. Now, you were just mentioning how games 25, 30, 35 years old still really held up good. I got 2 games here that I'm really happy to own. The first one here, you know what? I'll start with the newer one of the 2, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Ah, yes. For the Famicom.
Yes. Now, our boxes here in the U.S. for the Nintendo were long. They were long ways.
They were definitely bigger, longer, and wider.
Yep. And big, like we talked about last week, they had to put like a foam piece in the bottom, just to keep everything in. Here, the box is basically just big enough for the cartridge.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, the Famicom cartridges are a lot smaller than the NES cartridges.
Very true. So beautiful artwork there for Super Mario Brothers 3. You get a lot of the screenplay and screen grabs on the back of it.
Yeah, I do love that box. Yes. That's a great box.
A beautiful looking box. And here's the one that's even older. Got a couple stickers on it, but that's okay. The original, well, not the original, but the first Super Mario Brothers.
Yes.
And this, I mean, again, it's got some love to it. The back, the back of this box is just very straightforward. It has some sort of description on it. No screen photos. The thing I love about this box is what the hell is going on with Bowser?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that was the original design for him or whatnot. I don't know. I have no idea.
He's gray and blonde on the front cover of this. So
yeah, so he got a dye job.
Very, very odd.
You know what? It was all the rage back then.
Two, again, beautiful, beautiful boxes, and I love these. I'm not taking these out. And it, like Anthony says, goes to show how in Japan they really, really hold on to the pristine of the boxes.
Yes. Yeah, and that was something I definitely marveled at while I was there, because it was great. Because Larry, you know how much of a completionist I am. It's like when I buy a game, it's like I want all the pieces. I want the box, I want the instruction booklet, all of that. And it's really hard to find that for a lot of US games unless you're willing to pay through the nose. Yes. But going to Japan, I mean, it was just amazing to not only see these complete things, but to see how affordable they were. Now, granted, some of them were more expensive than others. So like Super Mario Brothers, I think the first Super Mario Brothers was like, I want to say like $50.
It was, complete. Yeah, it was a little more expensive, yeah.
But generally, I mean, that's how much it cost brand new when you bought it.
Well, compare it, I got a better one to compare it to when you texted me from Japan. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and Super Mario World.
Yes.
You have available loose or in box, and like in box was almost triple price for the two of them. Worth it, don't get me wrong.
Yes, definitely worth it.
I was like, I can't afford that, so you got me the loose cartridges, which are cool. But the price difference between loose versus complete sometimes is astronomical.
I know. And one of the stores I actually went to had an unopened copy of Link to the Past for $500.
Wow. That, again, worth it.
Yeah. I did not buy it, though.
Next one, I actually picked this up, I think, at Chiller Theater, which I'm going to be going to at the end of the month. Super Nintendo.
Oh, funny. So will I.
Yes, that's right. And I'm looking forward to getting Carmen Electra's autograph. Hey, all right.
Oh, okay. I haven't looked at who's going to be there. I was more interested in the video game portion of that. So.
I
gotta look.
You may be gravely disappointed, but they have some cool stuff sometimes.
No. I mean, I love the horror stuff.
No, it's cool. The whole thing's very cool. So this one is WWE Royal Rumble for the Super Nintendo.
That is incorrect.
It is WWE Royal Rumble because
that is incorrect.
Because if Vince McMahon is anything, he is a revisionist historian.
That's right, but if you look at the logo on the front, it is WWF Royal Rumble.
All right, so WWE Royal Rumble. So in box, I do like it. This was a very cool looking box with the wrestlers on the front and all classic wrestlers except for Bret Hart, who I don't like anymore. And the back of it just lists the characters, got some nice screenshots. And this, just your typical classic, iconic Super Nintendo box with the Super Nintendo logo on the bottom. This one, again, has got some wear and tear to this one.
And you know what I love about that box? Not to interrupt you, but if you look at the characters on the front, everybody is posed specifically, except for one person.
Yeah, it almost looks like they superimposed the chair into his hands.
Right, exactly.
Mr. Perfect.
Yeah. So Mr. Perfect, because everybody else is striking like a regular, like a model's pose almost. Like you know when you do a photo shoot, like all of the other guys have their photo shoot poses. Mr. Perfect does not.
I guess he was busy that day.
Yep. Or they just wanted a different shot. I don't know, but it's interesting when you notice stuff like that.
Now, unfortunately, with this one, I got the instruction booklet, but all I have is the cover of the instruction booklet.
Ah, that stinks.
But the game itself is still in very good condition. So, yeah, very nice on that one.
And that's the important thing also about it. It's like, as long as the games are in good condition and you can play them as well, that's why I still buy games even though they're not complete in box.
Oh, absolutely.
Ultimately,
totally.
I want to play them. I want to collect them and I want to play them.
Totally. Now I'm going to move on to my NES because I have a bigger NES box collection. So I'm just going to go right into it in no particular order. First one here, which is I discovered this recently, actually, and also even more recent, realized this is more of a TurboGrafx game, but it was released on Nintendo. It's called Dragon Spirit: The New Legend.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful box.
Very nice.
A lot of these I picked up from Game On. There's one I'm going to show, which was a find, like a complete out-of-nowhere find. This one, again, just to open it up, I'm not going to open all of them, but just some of them here. Cartridge in almost pristine condition with the label. And
with the label. Label's very important.
I have got a little bit of wear and tear, but definitely got the instruction booklet with it as well.
Cool.
So that is good. I can't take all these out because I'm not going to put them back in. This is one of two. Yes, one of two where I already had bought the cartridge, and then later on the box was available, so I ended up picking up the box and threw it in there. First one, in my opinion, I didn't realize that. In my opinion, one of the best, and you know how I love vertical scrollers, side scrollers.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best, one of the original. We're talking Capcom's 1942.
Oh, yes.
Part
1942.
of the Captain Commando Challenge series, which on a side note, Captain Commando just became available on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
Very nice.
Will it be victory or defeat? It is in your skillful hands. The Capcom
defeat
box,
it is.
Yeah, well, I never really got far in this one. It's funny. The Capcom boxes, like Nintendo, you had those original black box Nintendo.
Yes.
And then
the very generic ones like baseball, tennis, pinball, those games.
Oh, even Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, those will like it as well. A lot of the companies kind of had their own box style. Like Capcom always had this grid in the background for the early games, and then whatever the actual game itself. I like that look to it. I always enjoyed that look.
And remember, I mean, when NES was coming out with games, we were also coming off of video game systems that basically, I mean, and honestly, it was the box art that sold them. Atari and Television, ColecoVision, they all relied on the box art to sell it because there was no other way to really sell you on a game.
Yep.
I mean, you would see commercials on TV and stuff like that, but that was really it. And for the most part, they didn't make commercials for specific games back then. It was more for the system, so you would buy the system.
And you're right, because with Nintendo, you started getting the screenshots, you started to get commercials. The next box, which is another, again, series where the company put out a lot of the same type of box, Konami, and this one, my favorite game of all time on the NES, Contra.
Of course, you have to have that one.
Another one where I had the cartridge first, and then I came across the box later. Very nice box. Again, got some creases in it. I think all I have in here, is just the cartridge. But Konami had that silver box look to it. Castlevania series was on there. The Gradius ones were like that. And again, another one that I quite enjoyed where it was just that silver look, whatever superimposed game on it. And, of course, the screenshots in the back. And, of course,
sell it.
The most important thing, always have that Nintendo seal of approval.
Well, and the look of that box, it was timely as well for those guys. It kind of has like that Rambo Commando-esque kind of look. So it's like, you get to be like either Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone without actually being them.
And also have a nice sleeve. These sleeves are very convenient as well.
Oh, the plastic sleeves. Yep. Those were always helpful. Video stores, video rental stores used to have the boxes in the sleeves so they wouldn't get damaged.
Yep. Same things with the pops. I got a lot of pops in these type of sleeves, so very cool Contra. Hey, trivia. So the Nintendo seal of approval is always on games. It's always on the front of the game. There's one game box where the seal of approval is on the back.
Yes, we've talked about this before, and I've forgotten the answer. I've forgotten it. Just
anticipation.
I was going to say that.
Yep.
Funny.
So, next one. This is one of the early ones I bought when we started doing the podcast. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 more, but I'm going to start to blow through them, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
This one is one of the first ones I bought when we started doing the podcast. This one has no manual, but the game, I keep forgetting. Here's the other thing. When I have the boxes, I forget that. I don't know why. When I say I forget, it's like, oh, I wish I had that game. Duh, the game is in the box. So I usually forget that I have the cartridge. But this Spy Hunter.
Spy Hunter's a great game.
Great game.
I can honestly say, though, I never got really far in it.
No, I'm gonna be, again, full disclosure, I never got to the boat.
Me neither.
Yep. The box looks beautiful. Again, it's got some wear and tear. There's no manual to this one. But this was an original rental at Dave's Video Incorporated over there in St. James, New York.
All right, Dave's.
Oh, out here on Long Island. Okay.
I bet you're not there now.
I was going to say, unfortunately, they may not be there anymore. So I'll cover that up just because
that's a fairly good assessment.
Very
nice.
good copy. Very good copy of the game. So that's going to go to the side. Okay, this next one is a ROM. I'm not even going to say a prototype. It's a ROM. The box itself, I know, is a print. Like, it's not an original box. The cartridge is not an original cartridge, but the ROM inside of it, was downloaded and put on here. This is, let me just take, because the glare off the plastic sleeves.
Of course.
Kind of kills it. This, I wish this came out, but I did play this a little bit. The California Raisins, The Grape Escape. And as we discussed on a previous episode, I love the California Raisins.
Yeah, I think you're the only person in the world who does.
No, come on, Signed, Sealed, Delivered. That album is fantastic. Meet the Raisins.
Do you have that album?
My dad had the album, and then he handed it down to me.
Okay, well, see, now I can't say anything about it because your dad had it.
He loves that album. Yeah. So again, this is a repro of the box, but still, I just thought it was just cool to own because you really don't see stuff like this. Even on a repro, it's still sometimes well worth it, in my opinion. Even though it's
it's debatable with repros. I always have an issue with repro.
Agreed. Even though on the backs it even says box designed by and then the website. So, but I like that one. California Raisins, nice purple box, and a game that never was released. All right, so I stopped reaching over. Let me just grab these final four. Let's talk about this one again. Going back to Konami, talking about that gray box, the gray look to it. Top Gun.
Yep. I'm choosing not to show that one, but I have that one. I have Top Gun 1 and 2.
Okay, I don't have to. I never even played 2. I got to play that one day.
I never played it either, but I own
it. Clearly, this was a rental at some point.
Oh, yes, it was.
With a sticker, N126.
What did that say? N126?
N126. My rental number when I was little was I think like 321 or something, if I remember.
Oh, I don't remember mine.
Great, again, clear screen grabs. And speaking of which, my father, again, the only person in my household who was able to successfully land that plane almost every time. So. And
my father was the only one who was successfully able to refill the plane with gas.
Yes, my dad too, refuel. So yeah.
I don't understand how he refueled the damn thing. I was like, I can never do it.
Was your father in the Air Force?
Yes.
Okay, that's probably because that was mine. So
is that why?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's something
because he was in the Air Force. He could refuel a plane in a video game.
My dad never flew. He wasn't a pilot, but he was in the Air Force. So I guess it's something.
My dad didn't fly either.
This one's got some. It must have been like a water log or something like that. So it's got a little bit, but that's all right.
Yeah, not the end of the world.
No big deal. Another one, Gary Kitchen's Battle Tank.
Wow, Battle Tank, also a rental.
Yes, it was a rental. I had Super Battle Tank War in the Gulf, which for a while when they were putting out those military games, based on the Gulf War, again, which my father just dominated all of them. This I never owned. When I saw this one, I thought this was really cool. I never actually had this one, Battle Tank, but the box, very great condition, very little wear and tear to it. Cartridge, this one I want to show because this got a couple stickers on it, but beyond that, the label itself.
Wow. Label's nice.
Very clean. Okay, 2 more, and then we'll get to you. This one I picked up from a friend, now a friend of the show, and it is Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Ooh, very nice.
Now this one I picked up at the Aviator Retro Expo back in January. And that was the one where Frank helped out. You weren't able to attend. I don't expect, the fly-in is nuts. But Frank was there. Friend,
I don't like to fly.
Chris Lewis was there helping out. Frank Messina was there. And I saw this box, and I'm like, that's a good... I mean, it's got some rip and everything to it, but overall, the box is just looking just fantastic.
No, that's in pretty good shape. Did you ever finish that game?
No.
It was a surprisingly good game. I enjoyed it.
Oh, very good game. I just got to look up what the phone number gave you.
The phone number
gave you, yeah. And I want to give a shout out because this one I really liked, and again became a friend of the show. You can find him on Instagram, JHA Collectibles. JHA Collectibles. He's at a lot of the shows. He's got a lot of cool, not only video games, but a lot of like retro toys. He has this collection of He-Man toys and like the Castle Grayskull and stuff. Oh, it was awesome. Very, very cool.
Very cool.
And the last one I want to show, and this is the one that I just literally found in the middle of nowhere. I'm at one of the flea markets out here on Long Island with a buddy of mine, Harry, actually, and we went into this other store. It was a comic book store that we didn't even know was there. It opened like a year prior. So we go in, looking at some comics, cool stuff. And just on a fun side note, the owner of the shop goes, hey guys, you want to check this out in the back? Now, if we were like 10 or 11, this man would have been arrested.
Wait, was this a bike shop?
No, thank goodness. But he's like,
was
hey.
your friend's name Dudley?
No, but he had a collection of like old, like, I wouldn't say necessarily porno comics, but more adult themed comics. I was like, okay, interesting. But they were in boxes. It was just in the back in like a storage section. But out of the corner of my eye, I see this box. It's a Nintendo game, Defender of the Crown. Now, I never really played it. It's from Ultra. I never really heard a lot of it being an amazing game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. But this guy just had it sitting on the top of boxes. $5. This was $5.
Wow.
The box is in almost, I'm not going to say mint, but almost perfect condition.
No, it's in fantastic condition.
And not only that, I thought the thing was...
Did you break it?
Yeah, right. My luck. No, the instruction booklet's in there. I just can't get to it. There it is.
Can't get it.
So, no, I got it. So the instruction booklet, good condition. Very, very good condition.
Very nice.
And not only that, but the cartridge looks like it wasn't even touched by human hands until now.
I was just going to say, it almost looks brand new.
$5. I'm like, done.
No question about that one.
Went with Kung Fu with you. You're like, $14.
Oh, yeah. I was shocked with that one.
So,
very cool.
So that is my collection of boxed games. Hopefully you quite enjoyed that. And my...
Wait. You're done?
Yeah, I don't have any other boxes.
But where are the Virtual Boy games?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
No, I do have one box. Hold on, I got one box.
No. There are no virtual. You know why? Because nobody kept the Virtual Boy games because nobody likes them.
It's right there. Galactic Pinball.
Oh, sure, whatever.
Right there. Galactic. I can go get it.
Uh-huh. So. No, it's perfectly fine. Nobody wants to see them. Nobody cares about them because #VB sucks.
You know what? Shame on me. I forgot to pull that one out when I was preparing for the show.
See, Larry, look, you're coming around. You're becoming one of us. You're joining the rest of the world in unison.
Oh no,
that's
the
Virtual
terrible.
Boy.
It's like leaving my child in the back of a car. Don't worry, I don't have any children. I also have, which I didn't bother to pull out. I do have a bunch of e-reader games. The e-reader cards that we talked about. Mm-hmm. Some of them are slightly open, but I got a good handful of those as well.
Okay,
so that's my collection.
That is your collection, and you know what? I think. Let's take a moment to catch our breath.
Sure.
And when we come back, I'll go through mine. Larry, it's October.
It is. I can feel a chill in the air.
It's October. The chill is in the air in New York, not here. But we're inching closer to Halloween, and I know we usually, especially me, I love talking horror, and we can talk horror in video games, which is why I thought we could focus on a very special retro birthday in the horror genre to kick off our October.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
30 days till Halloween. It
is 30 days till Halloween. Silver Shamrock. so this game came out back on October 1st in 1997. So it's celebrating its 21st birthday.
Okay.
It's not a particularly well-known game, but it's a game that I've talked about before because I'm actually very fond of the series.
Okay.
That came out with this. So we are celebrating the 21st birthday of the original Clock Tower game for the Sony PlayStation.
Wow, that's 21 years ago?
Yeah, that was on
Holy
October
cow.
1st, 1997. And Clock Tower was actually, even though it sounds like it's the first game in the series, it was actually the second game in the series. The first game in the series was a game called D. It was just the letter D.
Oh, I didn't know Clock Tower was a sequel to that.
Yeah, basically, it was the same characters from D, continuing story.
Wow.
And the Clock Tower game, if you haven't heard about this game, it's a survival horror game, but it's also a point-and-click adventure game at the same time. So you're trying to figure out who this killer is. His name is Scissorman, and you have two different protagonists in the game. And based on the decisions you make in the game, you can have up to 10 different endings.
Good Lord.
And the game basically unfolds like a horror movie. So there's a point-and-click adventure where you're doing some sleuthing. You're trying to find out information. And then in the evening, you get attacked by Scissorman. And Scissorman is the villain. And you basically have to survive Scissorman's attacks, so you can continue playing the game and have it unfold. Now, the game ran really slow. Granted, this was like kind of one of the earliest games.
I've seen some game. I never played it, but I've seen gameplay. Yeah,
it's definitely a slow-moving game. However, it was just something different for the time. It was really interesting, unique, and it had a really interesting story. So I still own the original version of the game. I have 1, 2, and part 3 actually came out on PlayStation 2.
Okay.
That was the last one to come out. But definitely a great series. If you like those kind of point-and-click games and love a little horror mixed in, it's October. Great thing to pick up. So happy birthday, Clock Tower. That is this week's retro birthday.
All right. So we did a little flipperoo there in the break. And now... Anthony, now I know you have a ton more box games than I do. I don't know if you're going to go through all of them. We may not have time.
No, I've done some selections. So you've shown yours, and now I'm going to show you mine.
It's about time. Full exposure.
Yeah, full exposure to our boxed games.
Apps.
And again, like Larry said, I do have quite a bit. And I'll be honest with you, a large portion of what I have is from Japan because a lot of the games I bought there were boxed. So I'm not going to go through everything. Right. I would like to go through ones that have a little bit of story to them.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to go backwards in age. So,
okay.
Like you did, start with the most recent, go to the oldest. So I'm going to start with I actually have a couple of N64 games. I was just going to share one because I found this. At, I forget which convention I was at. I think it might have been the SoCal Retro Gaming Expo.
Okay.
Recently. No. My mistake. This one I picked up in Las Vegas at a Gamers Paradise.
Oh, okay.
Which is a great retro gaming store out in Vegas. It's right off the Strip.
Okay.
Right off the Las Vegas Strip near the Pinball Hall of Fame.
Yes.
So, which actually, one of the, I think, I don't remember, somebody told me that the store or the Pinball Hall of Fame moved. I'll find out in a couple of weeks because I'm going to Vegas. So, I will come back with a full report.
Fancy.
But anyway, this was a great 3D game, 3D perspective game on the N64, and it really started to show really how powerful the N64 could be with a licensed film franchise. And I'm talking about Star Wars Shadow of the Empire.
Oh, classic. That's a nice box too.
Yeah, this game, I mean, it's a little bent. It does, and it has the game and the instruction booklet, which is cool.
Oh, okay.
You always want both.
Oh, wow.
It does not have the piece to hold the game. The game is loose inside, so it's just flopping around. But the This is always the thing that does not exist when you buy. You can get a game in a box, but a lot of times the instruction booklet's missing.
And I feel like that the box adds value, but that instruction booklet adds a lot of value.
Yeah, it's the instruction booklet that really makes it complete. So if you can land something with the instruction booklet, you're really golden. So so Star Wars Shadow of the Empire definitely. Oh yeah, this game, if you have not played it, you're really missing out. So then after that, I'm going to jump over. That was all I really wanted to show for the N64.
Okay.
For Super Nintendo, Larry, I picked up. I definitely picked these up at the SoCal Retro Gaming Expo because I remember there was a guy who was selling stuff and he had glass cases that he kept everything in.
High-end stuff. The goods.
The good stuff. So, so I had to read through you read through the boxes sideways and try and pick out what you wanted.
Yeah.
And I saw these two games and I think they were $10 each.
Oh.
And for those of you who haven't listened to us before, or for those of you who have listened to us before and are sick of hearing this, we are wrestling fans. Larry and I are both big wrestling fans, pro wrestling fans. So it only made sense for me to pick up these two games, which are WWF Raw and WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game.
Both good. Raw was amazing.
Yeah, and these are in those plastic.
Oh yeah, we can tell. Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
You can tell. But again, these were two really great games, and Raw holds a special place in my heart because this was the game when it came out. If I remember correctly, it was in 1994. It was 1994. We had just met. So we did bond over this game. Yep. But also, this is the infamous game that I remember I made my mother give it to me 22 days before Christmas because I knew she bought it for me. And I just wanted to play it. I told her, look, I was like, I don't care if you bought it, if it's supposed to go under the tree. I was like, just give it to me now. I will play it. And you know what? And I lived up to my part of the bargain. Not only did I play it all the way through December, I played it for years and years before I sold it back to Funkoland like an idiot.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, my mistake. I still have this loose.
Oh,
also.
Okay.
I still have it loose also, but I picked this up because I wanted the box.
It's a nice box.
And maybe, I don't remember, maybe the instruction booklet is in here.
We're about to find out. Hey, fun fact as well, that was the game, when we first hung out, that was the game that we played, that, like, hey, you can come over and play Raw, no problem, and then, there it is. There's
instruction booklet is included.
Beauty.
Yep, so and very nice.
Infamously, I was mugged on the way home the first day I hung out with you.
Yes, and we've heard that story. Get over it. It's been 23 years, 24 years almost. Who says I'm not compassionate?
Hey, shame on them. I had a backpack full of Super Nintendo games, and all they wanted was the money out of my pocket. So there you go.
Hey, you know what? You should count yourself lucky that that's all they wanted.
Exactly. Right. Oh.
Yep. Right. Just be thankful.
Yep.
Okay. So now we're going to, well, you know what? Since I showed Super Nintendo, it only makes sense to show Super Famicom, right?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So I bought this game because I love the American version of this game. There is no way I can really ever play this version on the Super Famicom because I will never understand what they're saying in it. But I had to buy it because, one, it wasn't very expensive because, again, Japanese people take care of their games.
They do.
And I have to say, I really love the cover art, so I had to pick up Super Mario RPG.
Ooh, that is nice cover art.
Beautiful cover art.
White
Also,
box.
For those of you who have never played Super Mario RPG, this game houses a character that only exists in this game and nowhere else. And that is Gino. Do you remember Gino, the doll that comes to life?
Yep, I do remember Gino.
For some odd reason, this is the only game he's ever existed in. They never used Gino in another Mario game or another game in general.
Yeah.
I think he pops up as a prize or something in a Smash Brothers game or something like that.
Maybe. But
he's never been a playable character outside of here. And he was also, in my opinion, one of the most powerful characters in the game. And once he joins you, like I used him all the way through to the end.
Okay.
Very, very powerful. But anyway,
the box itself is gorgeous.
Yeah, the box is beautiful, and it's very, very simple, very clean.
Yep.
And then, of course, the description's on the back.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's just really,
you know
really...
what? It's funny. The back of that box looks like the front of the American version.
Yeah, it kind of does, right? Because that was the cover.
The sword in the castle.
Yep.
Meanwhile, with the Japanese version, again, it's a white background just with the characters. Very, very straightforward.
Yeah, just very straightforward, and that worked very nicely for me. So the other Super Famicom game I wanted to share is actually when I don't know which trip it was, like my 10th trip to Japan. I started looking for games that weren't released in America.
Okay.
So
Japanese only.
Right. So I was specifically looking for Japanese exclusive games that were also listed as some of the best games you could play. So in other words, if you go online, you can find a lot of top 10 lists of, games you can only get in Japan and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So I picked up this game because I found it in a store called Book Off.
Book Off, yes.
Book Off. And this was actually one of the more pricey games that I purchased because it cost probably about $34.
Okay.
But it's called The Fireman. And
yes, I remember. Okay.
And it's kind of like it's almost like a top-down game. It's more three-quarter, if anything. But basically, you're firemen going into burning buildings, and you're trying to put the fires out and save people.
As you do.
Yeah.
The front art, very kind of that bubbly manga look to the characters.
Yep. It was also developed by Human, which are also known for making like the Fire Pro Wrestling games.
Yep.
So, game's got amazing reviews. Again, it usually makes the top 10 list for Japanese exclusive games for the Super Famicom.
Okay.
I did play a little bit of it, and it's very, very entertaining. So
cool.
if you've never played The Firemen and you're into Super Famicom games, definitely take a look. I
may have to try that when I head over there.
Yes, you should. And now we're going to jump over to the regular Famicom before I go to NES.
Okay.
So you shared. I dropped one. No,
there it goes, and it just decreased in value.
And there I go.
And the cat ran away with it.
Cats, where are you? You showed Super Mario Brothers 3, which I thought was really, really cool. But we all know the story about the original Super Mario Brothers 2. Yes. And how the Japanese version was a direct sequel to the original Super Mario Brothers. But they thought it was too difficult for Americans to play.
Too difficult for North America, yep.
Right. So they took a game called Doki Doki Panic, and they basically reskinned it with Mario and Mario characters to come out with Super Mario Brothers 2 in the U.S.
Which is still a classic.
Which is still a classic. Yeah, it was still a classic game. However, they then released that version in Japan. And they couldn't call it Super Mario Brothers 2 because they had a Super Mario Brothers 2. So they decided to call it Super Mario Brothers USA. Mm-hmm. That's the USA version. So I picked that up.
Ah, cool.
In this lovely little pink box.
It looks tiny.
What?
It's weird because the Super Mario USA box is a vertical. The art's vertical, where my Super Mario Brothers and Brothers 3 was horizontal. So when you held it vertical, it almost looks smaller than the other boxes. But very, very bright pink.
I believe I think this is vertical because this was a re-release. This was a re-release in 1992.
Oh, okay.
The original version of it came out in 1988. But it's vertical, and you can see Mario throwing a turnip at Bowser. Or about to throw a turnip. But anyway, like what I like about this box itself, it's like the pink really makes it stand out. I mean, obviously, it's like super bright.
Fuchsia.
Yeah, it's definitely super bright, and you can't miss it. And then there's a nice Mario head on the back. So
very nice.
So Mario 2, very, very cool.
Okay.
This game I also found in Book Off, and I found it very inexpensively. I think it was like maybe all of like $4 or $5 tops.
Okay, can't beat that.
And it's a Konami game that I know you're a huge fan of because I know how much you love side scrollers. So I picked up Gradius.
Ooh, look at the artwork on that.
And the artwork on this is really the artwork is really beautiful on this one.
Gorgeous.
Alien spaceships, shooting down each other.
Just almost Star Wars like.
Very Star Wars like, and then they had some, some stuff in there to show you. Some screen images, but again, kind of basic. The silver seemed to be when
Konami's
you play.
Go-to.
Yeah, the silver was Konami's go-to in Japan as well, but there were other games also there where I felt like silver was kind of the basic one. So if you were picking up like baseball or tennis or something there, the Famicom boxes were generally silver. To my recollection, I didn't pick any of those up, but that's to my recollection.
Okay. That was beautiful artwork.
The next one on Famicom I picked up for two reasons. One, huge fan of the series. Two, probably the most gorgeous artwork I've saw on a Famicom game. So Final Fantasy III.
I saw this before. You showed me once before.
This box, I'm sorry,
look at that.
Artwork is gorgeous.
That is almost hand-drawn. Like straight onto the box.
No, it is basically, these are basically hand-drawn and then duplicated. But obviously I'm never going to play this because I can't read Japanese.
That's another one, yeah.
But both sides of the box.
Oh, look at that.
Are just stunning.
The back of the box has gorgeous artwork as well.
Because it basically looks like colored pencil drawings. That's what it looks like to me.
Watercolor almost as well. For at least
almost watercolor, and it's just absolutely beautiful game. The boxes here in the U.S. I don't think got this kind of treatment. So it's definitely worth picking up. Nice. And then last but not least for the Famicom, of course I had to pick this up, even though it was the re-release in 1992. Okay. My favorite game of all time. I can't say enough good stuff about this game. But we're talking about the Hyrule Fantasy, Legend of Zelda. I did pay a pretty penny for this one.
That is, well, I wouldn't say factory. It's sealed. It could be factory sealed.
Yeah, it's resealed.
Oh, okay. But still.
But exactly. So, but again. Had to buy this one.
Yeah, that artwork is very nice from the Famicom version.
Yeah, the artwork is awesome. I would love to get the sticker off here so you can see the whole artwork, but I can't without opening it.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's.
And then on the back as well, they've got some pretty cool artwork if you can see that. So.
Beauty.
Yeah, I mean, Legend of Zelda. I mean, arguably one of the best games ever created.
And even for a re-release, the box it looks damn near mint. So. Yeah. Good pull on that one.
Yep. So now moving over to the American Nintendo Entertainment System. Last week I showed you Kung Fu, so I'm not going to show that one again. Maybe saw that. I'm going to start with a couple of stories. One is a very basic story, which is Bases Loaded.
Yes.
That I picked up. Bases Loaded was a great baseball game, but the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I bought this at the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo when I came to New York. Yep. Was that last year?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That was there. Yeah, so last year, and just as the expo was opening, I walked up to a table, and they had bins underneath the tables. They were still setting stuff up, but there were a bunch of games they weren't taking out that were in bins, and I saw Bases Loaded. Now, I already had Bases Loaded 2 in its box. So I asked this kid who was setting stuff up, young guy, maybe like 19, 20, how much for Bases Loaded? And basically, the bins were like general bins. So in other words, if they were in the bin, they weren't worth very much.
Like $1 to $5, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. So he looks at the game. He looks confused, and he doesn't know what to say. So he's like, $3, and I'm like, okay, sold. I hand him a $5 bill. He goes over to the other guy who's setting up the table down the way, asking for change. And he's like, "Can I get change?" And I'm overhearing the conversation because they're a little far away. And the guy's like, "What did you sell?" He's like, "I sold Bases Loaded." And he's like, "You just sold a game in box for $3?"
It was in the bin.
Yep, but you know what? He honored the payment, and I still got the game for $3.
And it's a very I'm not going to say mint, but very good condition.
Oh, yeah, no, it's in excellent condition. There's no question about it. I mean, it's super clear.
Oh, yeah. Look at
all of it. And then this one I'm going to show really quickly, only because you just brought it up. The only NES game where the seal of approval is on the back.
There you go.
Anticipation with a whole bunch of weird people.
Yeah, right. More people than needed for the game. I like a party fun. I like that advertising.
Party fun for all ages. Nintendo's first video board game, which is what it was. And to be honest with you, I played this game nonstop.
Oh, game was fantastic.
And there's your seal of approval.
Seal of approval on the back, nowhere to be found on the front.
So anticipation definitely.
When you go shopping for, like me, if the box is there, I mean, unless it's like a giant, like just gash into the box, the little rips, the tears, the folds, I'm fine with. You really seem to go out to try and find as perfect of a box as possible. Is that really kind of always the case when you're looking, unless it's like the only one there?
Yeah, basically, if I'm going to get something, I'm going to get the box as pristine as I possibly can.
Okay.
And but for certain games like that, I know that I want. I'll make an exception because I'm like, okay, I was like, this is the best I'm going to get, so I'll grab it.
Okay.
I was like, but as close as you're right, as close as I can get, I will grab it. This one I have to show, just because. Charlie, you're a big fan of the show, and I love you, but I'm never going to stop rubbing your nose in this.
Oh.
Blades of Steel.
Ah, beauty. There's that silver Konami box.
Is that silver Konami box? And I believe I picked this up for $10.
Really?
Also at the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo.
Okay.
And it's in great shape.
Beautiful. Now, again, that's another beautiful
box. Now, the cartridge is loose. The little styrofoam definitely is not in here.
Uh-oh. All right.
And it definitely was a rental.
Okay.
You can see on the cartridges that they were a rental. It was a rental at a store called, interesting. Maybe I got this in California. Because it's a rental store called Video Grand in Pasadena.
Oh, all right.
Oh, and the styrofoam's in there.
Oh, thank you.
But no instruction booklet.
I
could have sworn I got that one in New
York. It's funny,
I
keep Game On, I don't know if they still have it, has in box the Blades of Steel, and Blades of Steel was a game that me and my cousins used to play just ad nauseum every time. It was like for some reason, it was like the only NES game I remember them owning was Blades of Steel. Shout out to my cousins Jamie and Brienne, and we used to play it often. I keep wanting to pick it up just for that factor. I may pull the trigger eventually next time I'm.
Well, you definitely should. I mean, it's not a very expensive game.
No,
so it's easy to get your hands on. And to be honest with you, it was the most entertaining hockey game on the NES.
One of the best.
Absolutely loved it. I got 2 more games for the NES I want to share.
Okay. Do you have, while you're preparing there, do you have like a lot of crossovers where like you have, or are you looking to get like the Japanese version and the American version?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely have crossovers of stuff. There's no question about it, but not necessarily boxed. Some of them some games I actually own loose and in box because I had the loose one first and then I found it in box.
Okay.
So that happened as well. So this NES game was actually gifted to me by my friend Rich, and I thank him very much for it because it's one of the worst games on the NES, but I didn't care.
Okay.
So and I've played through it and beaten it 1,000 times over, and it's perfect for the month of October. Even though they have a new game out that you can play online on your Xbox One or PlayStation 4, there's nothing like the original Friday the 13th.
And nice. In box, very nice box. That iconic Jason Voorhees on the front, which looks...
That's right. Beware of the purple and blue Jason.
Who's not on the cover. The purple and blue is not on the cover, so that's deceiving until you get in there and you go, what the hell is this?
You're like, what the hell am I playing, and why isn't there, why is Jason purple and blue? It also has the instruction booklet, which is very
cool.
nice.
Oh, nice.
It's always
quality
good.
to that.
Unfortunately, made by LJN.
I was going to say, if you don't mind, hold the box up again for a second, because I think LJN... Another one. Do you remember a lot of LJN boxes for the NES? Was their go-to look that whole kind of like, you had the black on the left and right?
Oh, no. LJN was always different.
All right. I don't know.
Yeah, LJN was always different. But the one thing you always got to see was that rainbow LJN logo.
Yep.
And you always knew when you saw, if you were smart enough, when you saw the LJN logo, you knew to stay away from that game.
It was going to be terrible, yes.
Yes. Last but not least, on the NES, I gotta say, again, another game, one of my favorite games on the NES. And I knew eventually I was going to pick this up in box. The version of it that I got is not the best box. Again, it's kind of similar to your Top Gun, I want to say. It looks like there was some water damage because it's a little warped.
Okay.
But I don't care because I got my hands on the Lucasfilm Games original Maniac Mansion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the box looks good in terms of the artwork and everything like that, and it's complete. It's just a little warped, right. But otherwise, now what I love about the Maniac Mansion box is how long of a description you get for the game on the back. Like they give
that's a novel.
Yeah, you got to read. It's a 4-paragraph story on this game.
Wow.
And again, this is one of those point-and-click adventure games. But to be honest with you, I mean, Lucasfilm Games knew how to make a good game.
That is true.
And Maniac Mansion was fantastic. The sequel, Day of the Tentacle, was arguably better. And then if you go later down the line, there's another game that I think one of the last games Lucasfilm Games made that I've never played and always wanted to because everybody raves over it. And it's like a noir game called Grim Fandango.
Oh, yes.
That everybody talks about. But anyway, Maniac Mansion, super trippy game, really fun, really weird, right up my alley. I was definitely happy when I was able to find this in a box.
You remember the TV show?
Yes, I do. And in fact, I think I wound up finding this on eBay. Ultimately,
okay,
that's where I picked this up.
Sweet.
Because in box, this game it goes for $70 or $80.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's NES. Now I know that's where you stopped. I go back a little further.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You do have some handfuls.
I have a handful of games from the Atari that I wanted to share. But before I get to that, I'm going to show you a game that I picked up, even though I don't own the system anymore. So there's no way I can play this game. And I believe it's from 1982. But I picked it up specifically because of the game itself. And that would be the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons game for the Intellivision. Now, I was a huge fan of Dungeons and Dragons as a kid. I played the role-playing game. I was a dungeon master with my friends, had a blast. Never played the Intellivision version, but I had to pick this up because the box looked like it was in really good shape. Yep. Even though Intellivision games are super cheap to buy, even in box. They were made in abundance. But the cool thing about it is... that's how it opens. Not only do you get a cartridge with it, but remember it had a number pad, so you had to put
the overlay
on the overlay. But it also had the instruction booklet.
Okay, very nice.
And it had the Venture cartridge instructions that came with the game.
Venture cartridge. Okay.
I honestly don't know exactly what that is.
How to insert the game into the system.
Basically. But and then of course they were for 2 players.
Yes, of course, yeah.
So,
I definitely on that is beautiful.
Yeah, the artwork on this is absolutely stunning.
And that's what we're going to start to see now, like with the Atari, like you mentioned earlier. Back then, 70s, early 80s, that's all they went by was the box art. And we're not talking screenshots; we're talking box art.
Right, box art sells games.
Yep.
So I'm going to flip through these really quickly.
Okay.
This one I picked up at a store in Burbank by me in Burbank, California. And I remember having this game. It was a difficult game, and I honestly can say that I don't really. I mean, you didn't beat games back then. You basically played them until you died.
That's true, yeah.
But there was something that I always found appealing to me, and the box was just in too good a shape to pass up. So I picked up Tutankhamun.
Oh wow!
For the Atari.
Very nice cover art.
Yeah, beautiful cover art. And again, the cover art is what sold the game. And you have the sarcophagus of King Tut with some cobras. And not only that, Atari games were interesting because when third parties made games for the Atari, they were also compatible with other systems. So
it was weird,
you would see a label on the bottom of the boxes sometimes. This one specifically said, for Atari 2600, Sears Video Arcade, and other compatible systems, whatever that would mean. They would just put that to cover, in case it worked. And this was actually developed by Parker Brothers.
Which is very funny to hear sometimes.
Yes, because Parker Brothers is mostly known for board games.
Yep.
But back in the 70s and early 80s when video gaming started to become a craze, a lot of general companies like Parker Brothers and others wanted to get in on it, so they started developing video games on their own.
Very cool.
Which is cool. Also for the Atari 2600, another game that I picked up, again because I thought the box was in really good shape. It was a great maze game. It was kind of like a Pac-Man style game, and it was called Maze Craze.
Oh, yes, yes.
And it was a game of cops and robbers. Again, bright orange box.
Yeah.
A really good
like a
image.
photo?
Yeah, no. It almost looks like it could almost be like a painting.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice.
Yeah, guy running away with a bag of money with the cops behind him on his tail.
Yeah.
And I said, like I said, this played kind of like a Pac-Man style game. Yep. So it's crazy, which was really cool. All right, heavy hitters coming in.
Oh, here we go, folks.
You cannot have an Atari 2600 without this game. This was like the must-own game, and it was the must-own game in my house because I didn't get to play it as much as I wanted to because my parents were too busy fighting over the system on who wanted to play next. On a little black and white television in our dining room that we had. But I saw this at the SoCal Retro Gaming Expo, and I had to pick it up. The original Asteroids.
Oh, beauty. That's an iconic cover on Asteroids.
Yes, everybody knows the cover of Asteroids with the ship shooting the asteroids coming at it. Everybody knows this cover.
You want to talk about false advertising.
Exactly. Because when you turn this sucker on, it did not look like this.
And there's no photos on the back. There's no gameplay on the back.
No photos on the back, just a short description. And for those of you who don't know what Asteroids is about, allow me to explain.
If you don't know, I don't know why you're listening.
Right, if you don't know, this is how they explained it in 1981. So this is, we're talking 37 years ago. Your spaceship is trapped in a deadly asteroid belt. You will have to destroy the drifting asteroid boulders before they destroy your spaceship. But watch out for enemy spacecraft. Fire your missiles to destroy the boulders and the enemy.
Just like in real life.
Yeah, just very straightforward. But again, one of the most iconic games ever created.
Question. I don't know if you know on the front, because the other game that you showed had as well, the number. That says 66 on the cover. The one you showed right before said 256. I wonder if those mean anything.
Oh, I think what the numbers were, I honestly think what the numbers were just to promote the system itself. Okay. So in other words, when I would assume when Asteroids came out in 1981, there were 66 games on the Atari.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
When Maze Craze came out, and I'll give you a date. Oh, no, that's not right. Because Maze Craze is 1980.
Oh.
Interesting.
Curious. Yeah, it's something to look into. If anyone knows, hit us up on our Facebook page or the Instagram, Retro Gamers Podcast at either one, or email us. Email it.
And the other thing interesting about these boxes, and I'm looking at them now, is that on the backs, they would give you your warranty on the actual cartridge.
Look at that.
So you would read here. So on the back of the Asteroids one, I have a limited 90-day warranty, which I'm pretty sure is expired.
Maybe.
But they give you the customer service locations in California and New Jersey.
Really? There's one in Jersey? What city?
Somerset.
Oh, all right.
And, so Somerset, New Jersey, and Sunnyvale, California.
So,
not Sunnydale.
I was going to say, it sounded familiar.
Yeah, no vampires in Sunnyvale. And then they also had a repair service number. They had two 1-800 numbers.
That's
one
really
for
funny.
The continental U.S. and one for California.
Well, even back then, California wanted to.
Yeah, there's
kind
of something wrong with that. But what I just found funny too was on the back of the Maze Craze box, there's a service agreement.
Oh.
On the bottom, which basically says, and I just want to read it because it's interesting. Yeah. If after the 90-day limited warranty period, your Atari unit requires service, Atari Inc. will service the unit on receipt, postage paid, with your check in the sum listed. So if you wanted to have your video computer system console unit serviced, it would cost you $36.
Oh, wow, that's in 1981.
Yep.
That's pretty penny.
If you wanted your game serviced, it was $6.
Oh, all right.
And if you wanted any of your handheld controllers, your joysticks, if you wanted your joystick serviced,
all right.
It would cost you $5 per joystick.
All right. Not too shabby. That's funny, the fact to get a game fix. You never think about getting a game fixed.
Yes. Exactly. So, but again, back then, sometimes with these cartridges, you drop it in a chips or something. Course. They may have been easier to fix. Okay, last two really quickly. And these two, to my knowledge, I could be wrong. They may have been redone, but I really do think that these are the original games, shrink wrapped, unopened.
Ooh, okay.
To my knowledge, these have never been opened before. Okay, and this game is probably one of the most iconic games on the Atari 2600. It was featured primarily. It actually featured very heavily in the Ready Player One book. I don't think it made it into the movie, but it was a big game in the book.
Yep.
Released in 1983 on the Atari 2600. Joust.
Yes. Classic game.
Very classic game. And again,
that looks factory sealed.
It looks factory sealed to the point of you see the little plastic tab?
The tab, yeah.
The plastic tab that you used to hang these on in a store. So I really do think this is the original factory sealed Atari 2600
version. Does it kind of have like down the back of the games had like where the seal came together, almost like a slit?
It looks like it to me, yes.
Because to me, then that would mean.
But it also has this. You see that slit there?
Okay.
Yeah. See that to me that makes it look like it's the original factory seal.
No, that's awesome.
I can definitely believe that for sure.
I would.
And this I also picked. This I picked up in I believe Las Vegas as well.
Okay.
I also picked this one up in Las Vegas, and this is the last game I'm going to share. Again, to my understanding, the original sealed game. Also a game I loved to play on the Atari 2600. Absolutely loved. Also loved the cover art for this game because the guy looks completely goofy, but it's super fun. Also, when we were talking about the commercials, remember all the retro video game commercials? This is the game that featured a very young Jack Black in the commercial, and we're talking about Jungle Hunt.
Wow. Look at that. Oh, yeah, look how that is a goofy-looking person on the front cover. But again, factory sealed?
Again, factory sealed, to my knowledge. Never opened.
Okay, I can believe that.
Yeah, so again, Jungle Hunt was another great game. You swing from vines, you swim with crocodiles, you try and save.
Pitfall.
Always. What? Yeah,
Pitfall.
basically, it was basically Pitfall, but called Jungle Hunt. And those are all the games that I actually wanted to share.
Cool.
And again, in terms of these, like with the boxes and everything like that, I honestly don't know the overall value for all of these things. I only know what I paid for them. But again, the value is in everybody, in your own eyes. I mean, there's part of me that buys games to be a collector, like the sealed ones. And then there's a part of me that buys games out of nostalgia. It's like the games I played when I was a kid. Exactly. So I have very fond memories of them. So I'm naturally going to, pick them up again.
Totally. Let me ask you, because I know, again, you have a lot more than I do. Any honorable mentions that you didn't show here right now that you have that you're kind of happy that you have in box? Unless the ones that you pulled out were the ones that... No,
there were a couple others. I didn't show you my NES wrestling game, so I have the original WrestleMania. Oh. The original... I didn't know you never saw that.
No,
so
I didn't know you had that one. All right.
Honorable mention goes to WrestleMania.
Oh, look at that.
The NES.
Yep.
And you got the back spell.
You can mail that away to Orlando. Get him to sign it.
Yeah, for $1,200.
No, he's reasonably priced.
No, I know. But anyway, so my wrestling games, I love collecting my wrestling games. So WrestleMania is definitely one of them. I know I have Tecmo World Wrestling also in box.
Okay.
Which is cool. Trying to think, Top Gun 1 and 2, which was called The Second Mission. Casino Kid, which was another game I loved.
Yes, I remember you did show that before we started doing the YouTube. Yep, I did show that. And then outside of that, I mean, in terms of box games, I mean, I think those are all the really good ones that I have, that I love. I have a lot of Japanese ones now. Oh, yeah, well.
Famicom and Super Famicom, I have I have a good, like 20, at least 20 games.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, that's just a sample of the collection I have. Very fond of it. I surprisingly own a lot of Sega CD games.
You do? Okay.
But those are games that you kept in those boxes.
Exactly.
So we didn't want to talk about that. But that's really what we're talking about here. Box games.
Cool.
And for anybody who does the same thing that we're doing and we're listening and if you want to share a couple of images of your collections or the games that you most favor that you still have that are in box and everything like that, post it on our web, post it on Facebook, show them to us. We'd love to see what you guys also enjoy collecting.
Post it on Facebook, tag us on Instagram if you have a picture of it. Email us a picture of it. Email at theretrogamers.com. Include your Instagram name. We'll be more than happy to put it up there and tag you with it as well. And like Anthony said, definitely let us see what you have. Expose yourselves to us. Oh, wait a minute.
No, I know that, and I think on that, I think we're done.
Cool. Now taking advantage of the YouTube, showing some of the collections, and as we go on, we're going to be able to show more when we get. Put it on the Instagram page, put it on the Facebook page, like we said. So cool stuff. But we're full disclosure, it is late right now when we're recording, and I am tired.
And so am I, even though I'm 3 hours behind you.
Yes. So Anthony, enjoy the weekend, at least from when we're recording. And listen, we're coming up very soon. I'm going to see you in about a month.
Yes.
And then about a month thereafter, you'll see me again.
You will be invading California.
Yes, absolutely. Totally. And we're going to do some live stuff. We'll see if we can do something live, or at least a live recording here in New York. But you're busy, so I get it. But definitely we're doing something in California.
No question.
Recording together and maybe live streaming some gameplay where we can really get some good gameplay going. Other than that, folks, I think we're going to, and if you agree with me, I think we're going to bring this one to a close.
I think it's safe to say that we want to bring this one to a close.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here, and catch us right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.